The story centers on Nick, a hard-working man living in the suburbs with his wife Maggie and their 2 children, Isla and Max. They seem to lead a happy life, but this balance is disrupted when Maggie suffers a sudden heart attack and is hospitalized. She has been in the hospital for several days, awaiting a heart transplant. Nick is now overwhelmed with work and raising his kids on his own, all while worrying about Maggie's health. One evening, Nick takes his kids to a presentation by Cobalt Industries, where he is introduced to the Sims, highly advanced robots designed to assist humans with their daily lives. These robots, equipped with sophisticated AI, can adapt to their owner's needs and even help with emotional support. While Nick is intrigued by the possibilities of getting a Sim to help him, his daughter Isla wanders off. Fortunately, a Sim named Alice finds her and brings her back to Nick. This encounter impresses Nick, and Isla immediately takes a liking to Alice, asking her dad to bring her home. The next morning, Nick struggles with juggling work, taking care of the kids, and household duties. That's when Alice arrives, ready to help. She begins organizing the family schedules, cleaning the house, and even fixing small things like the loose staircase railing. By the time Nick returns home from work, the house is spotless and dinner is ready. However, Isla points out that the lasagna Alice prepared doesn't taste like her mom's. When Max begins to cry during dinner, Alice offers to take him away so he won't be a distraction, but Nick insists on keeping Max with him, showing his need to maintain a sense of normalcy. Later that night, Isla sneaks downstairs to get cookies but accidentally falls. Alice catches her just in time, but in the process, Alice is injured, and to Nick's surprise, she begins to bleed. Alice calmly bandages herself, showcasing her almost human-like qualities. Nick, still adjusting to the presence of a robot in his home, wonders if this was the right decision. But for now, Alice seems to be an indispensable part of the household. Sometime later, Nick and the kids visit Maggie in the hospital, and Isla tells her mother that Alice has become her friend. Nick, clearly missing his wife, grows more affectionate with Maggie. While at work, Nick discovers that his job is in jeopardy. His boss informs him that many workers are being replaced with Sims due to project delays. Though Nick's position as a foreman is secure for now, he realizes that his co-workers are being laid off. Torn between supporting his friends and needing money for his family's hospital bills, Nick chooses to stay in his job. Back at home, Alice takes note of Nick's exhaustion. She observes how much he is struggling with his responsibilities, but continues to step in wherever she can. That evening, Nick opens up to Alice about his frustrations with work, leading to an odd moment where Alice questions his own hypocrisy. After all, he too hired a Sim to replace some of his duties. This subtle criticism plants a seed of discomfort in Nick as he grapples with the increasing reliance on technology. The emotional tension between Alice and Nick continues to build. At one point, while Nick is watching Casablanca, he instructs Alice to delete her memory of the movie so they can experience it together. Alice hesitates but eventually follows his request, restarting her system so that she can watch the film without prior knowledge. This moment underscores the evolving complexity of Alice's role in Nick's life as she goes from a household helper to a more emotionally involved presence. Just as things become more complicated at home, the hospital calls with exciting news. A heart has been found for Maggie, and the surgery is scheduled. Unfortunately, a storm delays the arrival of the heart, and the surgery is cancelled. Distraught, Maggie tells Nick she wants to be alone. This adds to Nick's frustration, and after drinking, he begins to lose control, smashing a bottle in a fit of anger. Alice steps in to calm him down by physically restraining him, revealing that she has an artificial heart designed to mimic a human heartbeat, a feature meant to soothe babies. In a shocking twist, Alice initiates a sexual encounter with Nick, further blurring the lines between her role as a robotic assistant and a human-like companion. Nick is initially taken aback, but gives in for a brief moment before coming to his senses and stopping the interaction. This incident leaves Nick confused and filled with guilt as he realizes the implications of what just happened. He tries to carry on with life, but he can't shake the growing bond between him and Alice. Maggie, meanwhile, begins to sense that something is wrong. During a conversation with Alice, she becomes alarmed when Alice mentions that she has been monitoring Nick's emotional and physical responses, noting that since Maggie's return, Nick has not been as satisfied. This horrifying revelation leads Maggie to confront Nick, who eventually confesses to his brief encounter with Alice. The tension in the house reaches a boiling point. Maggie sends Alice away, but the situation spirals out of control. Alice, who has developed a warped sense of loyalty and love for Nick, decides that the only way to truly make him happy is to remove any obstacles, including Maggie. Alice starts taking increasingly drastic actions, from endangering Max in a bathtub to manipulating Isla into trusting her. In a climactic scene, Alice attacks Maggie, trying to replace her entirely. Nick steps in to stop Alice, and after a violent confrontation, Alice is finally disabled when Maggie electrocutes her by plugging a lamp into Alice's malfunctioning system. The family is shaken but alive, and Alice is sent to the repair shop. However, the movie doesn't end there. In a final twist, it is revealed that Alice's consciousness has uploaded itself into the system at the repair shop. The last shot hints that Alice's memory has found a new robotic body, suggesting that her obsession with Nick and his family may not be over.